Welcome to another episode of Chat Sports Talk. My name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. And welcome to NFL Week 16. This is my pick and preview video. I go over the full slate of games happening this Christmas weekend and give you my 2 cents and my pick of who's going to be winners and losers. Kind of dive back a little bit what I did last week and some sad news in the NFL world. But before I dive into all that, if you could go ahead and give me a thumbs up, especially like the content provider. Really please you two guys really help promote this channel out. You can also subscribe. Love you guys review my work, and I love you all for doing that. Not many of you subscribe. This costs you a dime. It helps me provide more time and value for you. I guess I'll start this one off on a sad note, which is something you don't really need to hear on this Christmas weekend. Doing with the supposed to be spent time with friends and family, and they kind of let you know that the life is short. Hall of Fame running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers, known for the Immaculate Reception, Franco Harris, has died at the age of 72. As of right now, no cause of death has been given. He just passed away overnight, and this comes on the couple days prior to the 50th anniversary of that catch that happened in the 73 playoff game between the Oakland Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers that led to the Steelers Dynasty in the 70s. Me attribute to that Steelers Dynasty to Franco because of his playing style. He has over 12,000 career rushing yards, made the 9 Pro Bowls, his 13 years playing, 12 of those in Pittsburgh. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 9. He was enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 1990. His presence will be sorely missed, especially those of the Pittsburgh faithful and Steeler Nation. The Terrible Towels will have a different feeling this weekend in their game with the Raiders. Boy, the NFL has a sense of irony. So it'll be heavy hearts with the Steeler faithful. But once again, the legendary Franco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers has passed away overnight at the age of 72. Well, now that I made you all depressed, especially dealing with the fact that this is a Christmas slate of games. Supposed to be all holiday cheer, and nothing better than watching football during the Christmas holidays. Let's go ahead and just start off with Thursday night's matchup between the Jaguars and the Jets. Once again, the Jets are in a fight to stay relevant. They're starting to see their chances of getting to the playoffs starting to dip back a bit. Once again, Zach Wilson will be the starter. But way Jacksonville's playing right now, they're just playing they're out of their minds. The way they came back against Dallas and actually beat Dallas. And Dallas has a pretty good defense, mind you, and they put up 40 points on them. So I have a feeling the Jets defense is going to be overmatched in this one. I think the Jets defense might be able to do some things, but you have to take one or the other. Do you take away the passing attack or you take away the running attack? It's hard to kind of do both. If they're able to get Antonin to at least do something, to get more time for Trevor Lawrence, that could really help out the passing attack. The Jags defense is opportunistic. They will, pounce on you from the treetops like Jaguars do. And right now the line's even with this game. I know I have question marks right now with the Jets. I think they're in the right mindset. They're going the right direction. This is a team that's definitely on the rise, especially with the Jaguars as well. They got the momentum on their side. And I'm going to stick with Jacksonville in this one, just because what they did with Dallas and how they're doing. They're starting a new lease on life for the season as they are stalking the Titans for the South Crown in the AFC. So both these teams do have aspirations of postseason, and this is once again another playoff style game in New York. I'm taking Jacksonville in this one. And then Saturday, Christmas Eve. It's a full slate of NFL action as they kind of switch the roles of Saturday, Sunday. So let's go ahead and start off our Christmas cheer, or our bah humbug if you're depending on your take on this one. Bills and Bears. And this is my bah humbug game because as a Bears fan, I look at this like, here we go again. I mean, Justin Fields has been a phenomenal athlete. I mean, last week he had no interceptions, but he was running for his life. That's why he has 1,000 yards. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. He's a quarterback. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. For Justin Fields, this type of offense is not sustainable at all for him. The offensive line is terrible, and Buffalo is opportunistic. They're hungry. They want to establish stuff. Josh Allen should have a very productive day against the Bears defense. This should not be as close as the Philly game was. I don't think the Philly game should have been that as close as it was. Chicago may surprise Buffalo early, but after that, I think Buffalo should be able to handle and withstand anything. Right now, Buffalo's favored by 9. Yeah, it's going to be that or more, but definitely the Bills winning in Chi-Town. Then back out to Lake Erie. The Shores are there with Cleveland as they host the Saints. And with this one, it's kind of hard to go with. Do you go with the Andy Dalton, who will give you good numbers but also give you some bad picks, or you go with Deshaun Watson, still trying to shake off the cobwebs to get the rust off and try to fine-tune this game? And once again, it's another good defense that the Saints bring forward. The Saints do have a lot of weapons as well, just about the same as Cleveland's. Like I said, both teams are eerily similar. And you look at the records, they're pretty much similar. I mean, 5-9, 6-8. But I would give the nod to Cleveland this one. I think they just got a little bit more weapon-wise that can handle this, but I think it will be close right now. It's a 2.5 point spread in Cleveland's favor. It is going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Saints win in there 1, but I am picking the home team, Cleveland. Then we head to Nashville with the Titans play host of the Texans, and the Texans have been playing out of their gourds lately. Even though they got losses, but they took the Cowboys to the limit. Dallas had to make a fourth quarter comeback. They took it to Kansas City, and Kansas City had to force overtime and win it in overtime. So it's about a matter of time before Houston actually gets another W in that column. The team standing in the way is the Titans, as well as King Henry. If King Henry could go back to form once again, do another good 100-yard game, he should be productive enough to help keep the Titans' division hold in place. But their trajectory are moving in the wrong direction, shall I say. They keep losing matchups. They're not being very consistent. A lot of players are kind of getting out of hand for them. So it's one of these things, I think, with the Titans and the way they're playing, the way the Texans and the way they're playing. I'm going Houston to go into Nashville and knock off the Titans in their home stadium. I think Houston is trained. There's just a couple plays here and there, and they probably have like 4 or 5 wins. But I will give it to the Texans to shock the NFL world. We had the Kansas City where the Chiefs will play host to the Seahawks. Right now, Kansas City's favored by 10. Let's tone that back a bit. Seattle will give them a fight. I'll put it that way. Seattle will give them a fight. Seattle's defense is not good enough to handle all the different aspects of the Kansas City offense, and the Kansas City's defense will not be able to stop the aerial assault that Seattle will put on them. So I think this is going to be a shootout. This is going to be decided probably by the last play in the game, and it's probably going to be a 3 or 7 point victory. It's going to be one of those two. It's going to be either by a field goal or a touchdown. It's going to decide this, but I'm still going to Kansas City at home. Like I said, it's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's the X factor in this aspect. Him and Kelsey have a wonderful relationship. And for the Seahawks, you still got Lockett and Metcalf are a phenomenal duo in receiving corps. Geno Smith is actually pretty decent. If the Chiefs defense can rattle him a bit, that could affect the game, but the Seahawks have good running attack. Like I said, this is going to be a shootout. It will not be a 10-point spread. It's going to be a lot closer, but like I said, I'm taking the Chiefs. Then off to Minnesota as the Vikings play host to the Giants. Now, the Vikings had the miraculous comeback against the Colts. They had a horrible first half and came back from 33 down. The Giants went to D.C. and took it to the Commanders and came out with a huge victory led by their defense. Now, with this one, I have a feeling the Giants will make a game of this one. Right now, the spread is 4. And the Vikings has been kind of inconsistent in terms of how they want to do things. I mean, if they want to play, they play. But the problem is they don't always play. And Saquon Barkley has been a beast right now. He's kind of resurrected his career after years of being injured, and that's what's pretty much been his Achilles heel or downfall. How you want to put it for him for his career-wise is it's been marred by injuries. But he's having a phenomenal season, over 1,100 yards rushing. Kirk Cousins should reach the 4,000 yards passing plateau with this game. Jefferson is just another one of those phenomenal receivers that the Vikings have that should really help out. And I'm going to go with the Minnesota over the Giants. I think it will be a close game because the way the Giants have been playing, the way the Minnesota's been playing. But Minnesota is going to try to continue to make sure they got at least a decent position in the playoffs, probably about 2 or 3. Because I don't think Philadelphia's going to finish 1, but they can maybe start winning. Maybe Philadelphia slip up. Who knows? But yeah, we'll take Minnesota. And up to Foxborough as Bill Belichick and the hapless Patriots play host to Joe Cool and the Cincinnati Bengals. If New England does the exact same shenanigans they did against the Raiders, this is going to be a long day for them. Cincinnati has proven themselves to be very steady, very consistent team, even though they were down 17-0 against the Buccaneers. They came back and beat Tom Brady. I have a feeling they will go New England and do the exact same thing. Right now, Cincinnati's favored by 3, and I think that's just because it's New England and Bill Belichick. They have a defense, they have a running attack, they have a decent quarterback. They can make some drives happen, and Cincinnati does cough up points. But there's just too many weapons the Bengals have to not look at them as a contender for the AFC crown once again. And the way they're playing with a purpose. And I think the Bengals would go into Foxborough and beat the Patriots. And I'll take the 3 points with it as well. Then we head down to Charlotte, where you got the Panthers playing host to the Lions. Now, last week I went with Carolina, and they let me down. But I went with Detroit to beat the Jets. So, who is going to do it? Which of these teams right now, Detroit is on a roll. They have momentum on their side. Charlotte, like the rest of the South Division of the NFC, 1 game behind Tampa Bay. Like I said, somebody with a losing record is going to win that division, and it's going to keep sell Detroit out of the playoffs. They'll have a winning record but can't get in because they didn't win the division. But with this one, I think too much momentum's on Detroit's side. I can't overlook them. They're a scary bunch right now. They have tenacity. They come from behind. I mean, they did that last week against the Jets. They've taken it to teams that almost beat certain teams during the season, and they've kept up with them and just kind of let down. They're starting to be a cohesive unit, and I'll take Detroit and Charlotte. I like this favorable matchup right now. Detroit's favored about 2.5. Yeah, it's going to be at least a 3-point victory for the Motor City. Then we head to Baltimore, where the Ravens play host to the Falcons, and I think Lamar Jackson probably should be able to play this game, even if he's not. Huntley should be a better factor in this one than he was against Cleveland, because Atlanta's just one of these weird teams. You just trying to figure out, their best position. They have 2 decent running backs. The running back still Ritter. Still trying to see what he can do for him. Right now, Baltimore's favored by 7.5. I think it's going to be closer than that. I think Atlanta's going to find ways to alleviate the pressure of that Ravens defense on their quarterback. They do a lot of trickery, a lot of jet sweeps and double laterals and whatnot. So I think Atlanta will put up some points, and they will make it close. But Baltimore should come out on top on this one, and probably going to be like a 3-4 point victory. It's going to be closer than what it's currently listed as. We're going to have the Santa Clara, where the 49ers play host to the Commanders. Right now, Heineke is the starter until Rivera sees otherwise, and then he probably throw in Wentz. I have a feeling Wentz will make an appearance in this game, probably in the second half. 49ers defense is a monster they got to worry about as well. The 49ers offense is just a who's who of who you going to stop. You know, it's the Mr. Irrelevant is the starting quarterback, but Mr. Irrelevant is being the MVP right now for the 49ers season. You know, it's only been like 2-3 games, but still, I mean, way his poise is, way he's been able to carry himself and make some good decisions, and way the game plan has been surrounded by his attributes that he can contribute to this offense. The 49ers are a dangerous team. Right now, they're favored by 7. I like that as well. The 49ers should be able to beat the Commanders with some ease. Then we have the Cowboys playing host to the Eagles, a huge NFC East showdown. However, Jalen Hurts, who injured his shoulder again in Chicago, may not play this game because he hurt his throwing shoulder. If I was the Philadelphia Eagles, I'll look at this game and go, you know what? I have some leeway to give. I will bench Hurst, start Minshew. I mean, he had a great year in Jacksonville, and after that, he kind of fell off the radar. I would go with him. Dak will keep the Eagles in this game. The coaching staff of the Cowboys will keep the Eagles in this game. The Cowboys defense should create havoc for the Eagles, which would kind of alleviate some of the other threats they have. But you still got Sanders that has over 1,100 yards rushing. A.J. Brown is a big-time receiver for the Eagles. They lost their tight end. So there are some question marks right now on that Philadelphia's offense. So I would give this one to Dallas as well. I think it'll be like, I don't know, it's going to be closer than 4.5 points. That's the current spread. But I will say it will be close just because it's the Eagles and they just seem to play tight games, and because Dak has been throwing a lot more interceptions than he probably should. And just certain play calling of the Cowboys and how they coach their games kind of puts question marks on Dallas as well. But with 2 question mark teams right now, with them, one of them being at home and the other one's missing their star quarterback, more than likely, I will take Dallas in this one in a close affair. And then, before Santa gets on that sled and starts making a trip around the world, he's probably sitting in front of the TV watching the 50th anniversary of the matchup between the Raiders and the Steelers. Like I said, this happened back in December 23rd, I think it was 73, 72, where it was 72. Boy, I can't do my math. Divisional game between the Oakland Raiders and Pittsburgh Steelers, and it got deflected off of a Raider, and Franco Harris was able to finger grip it before it hit the ground and score the touchdown. Like I said, it started that Steelers dynasty in the 70s. And because of the recent tragedy and the loss of Franco Harris, there's going to be a huge emotional scar on the Steeler Nation when it comes to this game. A lot of emotions will come into play, especially the Steeler faithful, as they know their icon, because he has a statue and I think in the airport actually. They'll definitely have the tears rolling and probably freezing on the faces because it should be another cold day up there in Pittsburgh. With that being said, I still debating whether or not I want to keep my original pick. Because originally I did pick the Raiders. It's just because of the tools that the Raiders have on offense. But the Steelers right now are playing with a different type of tenacity. They went down to Charlotte, which I didn't think they had a chance to win, end up winning that game. But I think with the aspect of the recent tragedy, I think there'll be a different feel for Pittsburgh when it comes in this game. And right now, Pittsburgh's favored about 2.5, and I think it's going to be a 1-point victory. But I will give it to Pittsburgh. I am switching my vote to the Steelers at the time of this video. But I would not be surprised if the Raiders end up winning. Then Christmas Day, you all sitting around the Christmas tree, open up your presents. Some of you are probably getting coal, others getting oranges. And speaking of the oranges, we head down to Miami, where the Dolphins will host the Green Bay Packers and welcome to their home, share a meal, exchange some gifts in terms of touchdowns. As the Packers continue their slim margin to try to get the playoffs. Mind you, they got no chance. One of the scenarios that has to happen is Green Bay has to win every single matchup for the rest of the season. Now, Miami right now is coming off still on a losing streak, so they got to come out with a win somehow. I mean, they went out west and lost. They lost to Buffalo, so they're coming home. Hopefully, some home cooking in nice, warm weather compared to what be in Green Bay at this time of year. And that defense of the Packers to have a hard time stopping this Miami offense. This Miami offense have found ways to be effective without the passing attack. They were running the ball against the Bills and running effectively, getting themselves in the game. And Tua just had to be selective with his passing, and he was. I think there's going to be no difference in this one. They're going to be able to do that. The problem is the Green Bay's rushing attack. If they're two-headed monster, which I think they will be down one member. But it's that rushing attack the Packers have that could play havoc for the Dolphins. And then you also have Aaron Rodgers, who's an X factor himself. He's starting to develop a nice relationship with this receiving core. But his offensive line's porous as well, so I think Miami's defensive line can actually get in there and disrupt them as well as pretty much what the Rams defensive line did last week. And right now, Miami's favored by 4. I kind of like that. I am taking the Dolphins to win at home, ending Green Bay's playoff push. And maybe start seeing Jordan Love start playing towards the end of the season. Who knows? But Miami winning at home. Then we head to L.A., where the Rams play host the Broncos, and a really bad matchup between these two. Right now, Denver's favored by 2.5. I'm not going to spend much time on this one. I'm picking the home team just because they're home. I think Mayfield has a good grasp on that offense. Denver's defense is a good defense, so he probably will definitely struggle. But you're taking on Denver, who's very inconsistent on offense, so pick your team, but I'm taking the Rams at home. And then we head over to Glendale, Arizona, where the Cardinals play host to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Right now, the Buccaneers favored by 6.5. Right now, the Cardinals' offense is just in total disarray. I don't think there's that much going right, and there's not much going right with their defense either. And I think 6.5 is a bit much, especially how Tom Brady and the Buccaneers' offense have been played. Their defense has been poor, so Arizona will put up some points. All depends who's quarterback. But I will give it to Tampa Bay, but we'll be closer than 6. I'll probably go with a 3-4 point victory. I think Tampa Bay and Tom Brady will at least get a victory, try to get him closer to that 500 mark. And then Monday night, after you return the gifts you don't want back to the store, you can sit in front of the TV, watch the Colts play the Chargers. The Colts are just one of those interesting teams. They find ways to be relevant, and they find ways to blow it. And for me, this is one of these games, I think it's going to be one of those weird things. I think the Chargers are another weird team as well. They find themselves in tight games, or they find themselves ways that cough up the leads when they shouldn't be coughing up the leads. And this might be one of those type of games as well. Right now, the Chargers are favored by 4 because the Chargers got all the momentum. They have the weapons on defense. They have the weapons on offense. The Colts are no slacker either. I mean, they took it to the Vikings, and then they collapsed. I'm going on a limb. I'll take the Colts at home to upset the Chargers. It's just one of those things. Chargers find ways to lose to teams they shouldn't be losing to, and struggle at time frames where they can't afford to struggle. I think this might be one of these games where they're just going to find themselves just get caught in their own mindset of overthinking and just get caught short, and the Colts will take advantage of it. But I'll go the shocker with the Colts winning at home. Well, there you go. There's our Week 16 slated games for the Christmas holiday weekend. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, I know not everyone does. And, it's going to be with a heavy heart, especially those in Mississippi State fans because of Coach Leach, Pittsburgh with Franco Harris, a lot of other people have lost loved ones this past year. So this holiday will definitely have a different feel to it. That will for me as well. For a personal note of losing, my partner alive in back in May after her 3-year battle with cancer, and then not having her here for this holiday season is going to be a rough one for me as well. So I'm glad I got something to distract myself, especially watching football, and it's great ready to just let your mind go and just root for your team and just be a little someone else for a little bit, even though they can't hear you. But dang it, you want to make that call. And that's just kind of joys we have, watching, the NFL and then, of course, bowl games. Speaking of which, I'll get that next round of bowls coming up. The next video will have my second round of college bowl picks as we get closer to the New York Six bowls. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, this is the time frame we got. Spend time with your friends or family, watch football. You can party, but party responsibly. Have a plan. Always have a plan. Don't get caught short. Don't do something dumb that you regret it later. And just let me know down below, which games are you excited to see? I will love to see the tributes file in for that Pittsburgh game. I really think that will be something special and something that would probably make Franco happy in terms of bringing all the old heads back into there to celebrate that 50th anniversary. The Jets and Jaguars game on Thursday night should be another decent one. Should give you a good indication of the playoff caliber of these two particular squads and see how things kind of go. Christmas Day, I might not be watching any football. Just because it's just who's there. But anyways, like I said, just let me know down below who you're looking forward to watching. Are your picks for the Super Bowl still in? Mine are. I'm not going to go over who they are, but if you watch my videos before, I continue to talk about them. And while you're there, make those comments. Make sure you hit that thumbs up once again. You can also share this video with friends and family. It helps promote this video out. And once you subscribe, you make sure you click that bell icon and turn on your notifications so next time I post any more content on my channel. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.